In 1848, James Marshall discovered gold at Sutter's Mill in California. The news was electrifying, and within months, thousands set off westward. These were not just Americans. Prospectors from China, Europe, and Latin America joined the rush. This event was the triggering moment in what would become a seismic migration shift. Rivers of people flowed through San Francisco, turning it into a bustling hub. Gold seekers endured grueling conditions, driven by the lure of instant wealth. The population of California exploded, with areas like Sacramento springing into existence overnight. This marked a new era, reshaping not only the American landscape, but its economic psyche. The rush intensified community interactions, often leading to conflicts and collaborations. The sudden influx overwhelmed existing infrastructure, necessitating rapid development. This pivotal moment set the stage for a series of gold rushes across North America. The gold fever that started here would soon ripple far beyond US borders. The precondition for the gold rushes lay in America's expanding frontier spirit. Manifest destiny fueled a belief in inevitable territorial expansion. Most settlers were driven by agrarian pursuits, but gold altered their trajectory.
The economy was recovering from the panic of 1837, creating fertile ground for risk. Western territories began to inspire dreams of prosperity and adventure. Communities in eastern US were stressed by unemployment and limited opportunities. Thus, the gold discovery presented a radical solution to socio-economic challenges. Mass migration became not only possible, but desirable. This transition in mindset was crucial for embracing distant, uncertain opportunities. International interest also began swelling as tales of gold reached overseas. The allure of fortune proved a potent catalyst in bridging cultural and geographic divides. The preconditions were ripe for a widespread phenomenon that would redefine boundaries.
The origin of the Alaskan Gold Rush was in the late 19th century. It began with small finds near Sitka in the 1860s, sparking interest. Miners like Joe Juneau and Richard Harris made substantial strikes by the 1880s. News of gold in the Klondike River area ignited headlines worldwide. By 1896, Skookum Jim Mason and George Carmack's discoveries intensified the fever. This frenzy saw roughly 100,000 prospectors venturing into rugged Yukon territory. Many faced treacherous journeys over the Chilkoot and White Pass trails. Cities like Dawson City burgeoned as prospecting bases, becoming nearly mythic in their promise. The frozen north became synonymous with speculation, danger, and opportunity. Encampments quickly transformed into organized outposts, reflecting self-sustaining communities. These foundations would later evolve into significant municipal structures and governance. Impressive, though risky, these origins spotlighted the formidable human resolve at its heart. Early adoption of gold mining techniques quickly spread across the frontiers. Tools ranged from simple pans to sluice boxes and long toms. Methods became more sophisticated as miners adapted to varying terrains. California saw hydraulic mining, causing environmental concerns by the 1850s. Mining innovation did not stop there. New machinery emerged to enhance productivity. In Alaska, thawed permafrost required unique approaches to extract gold. Large corporations entered the fray, introducing industrial-scale operations. The speed of adoption highlighted the intense competition for resources. Technology centers developed to advance mining techniques rapidly. Networks were formed to share knowledge and maximize yield, often in real time. The rush facilitated cross-continental technological exchanges and collaborations. Early adopters of these methods set precedents for future resource exploration strategies. The mechanism of the gold rush revolved around swift communication and supply lines. Fast steamboats carried news and supplies up rivers like the Sacramento and Yukon. Postal services and telegraphs ensured timely updates on gold finds. Blooming general stores provided miners with essentials, ranging from food to equipment. Speculators established banks and assay offices to determine gold purity. These financial hubs laid groundwork for permanent economic structures in frontier towns. Companies like Wells Fargo developed, facilitating secure money transfers and credit. Miners frequently relied on credit, creating new demand for financial products. In isolated regions, these mechanisms fostered economic microcosms with their own rules. The fusion of communication and logistics allowed for rapid reaction to discoveries. Train routes and steamers synchronized the movements of people and goods. Virtually overnight, entire economies emerged, supported by tireless networks of innovation. Acceleration of the gold rush occurred when routes became more accessible. Railroads provided a direct connection to mining towns like Sacramento. The Southern Pacific and Union Pacific railroads facilitated smoother journeys. Horse-drawn wagons on well-worn trails offered alternative access options. Sierra Nevada passes opened, reducing travel time significantly. In the Yukon, advancement included river steamers and improved sled trails. Accessibility meant increased competition, but also broader shared prosperity. Equipment and technology became more standardized, enhancing efficiency. Resources could be mobilized quickly to respond to new strikes. Markets evolved rapidly to accommodate fluctuating supplies of raw gold. Standardization of mining practices ensured stable outputs even during uncertain times. The symbiotic relationship between transportation and resource extraction accelerated the phenomenon. Normalization set in as boomtowns transitioned to stable communities. Law and order became priorities, with towns establishing governance structures. San Francisco morphed from a tent city to a financial and cultural capital. Dawson City implemented municipal services and legal frameworks. Local economies developed beyond gold, sustaining broader commerce and industry. Banking systems became integral, stabilizing volatile economic conditions. Security measures evolved against theft and claim jumping, enforcing miners' claims. This shift saw cultural diversity, enriching community life, as many immigrants remained. Towns grew permanent, with institutions like schools and printing presses emerging. By 1854, California was producing half the world's gold supply fueling global markets. Regions that normalized attracted steady migration, further embedding economic viability. The normalization phase ensured the longevity and maturity of initial gold rush impulses. The scale of these rushes was unprecedented by the 19th century standards. Millions of ounces of gold extracted, reshaping international gold reserves. The Yukon alone yielded over 4 million ounces between 1896 and 1903. California's gold production significantly influenced U.S. economic policies. The influx of gold prompted monetary policy shifts, impacting national gold standards. Beyond precious metals, human migration patterns were forever altered. Populations of frontier territories grew exponentially, reinforcing national expansion. Town infrastructures underwent vast transformations, accommodating rapid growth. Entire economies in Australia, Canada, and South Africa watched closely, learning and emulating. Investment soared, driving inventions beyond mere mining, such as transcontinental ventures. The immense scale prompted international treaties aimed at improving claim fairness. This new scale of industrial activity redefined routes of exploration, settlement, and prosperity. The power centers of the gold rush comprised diverse entities. Mining corporations exerted influence over legal and financial systems. Banking institutions became financial epicenters within burgeoning communities. Financiers and speculators like Charles Crocker and John Mackay emerged as new power brokers. They controlled flows of capital, directing investments into resource acquisition. Government figures also took pivotal roles, ensuring regulation and order. Law enforcement on dirigible mining settlements acted as de facto community leaders. Businesses like Levi Strauss thrived, catering to the needs of miners and communities. Local political structures intertwined with economic ambitions, influencing governance. Today's perceptions of corporate influence find early roots in these dynamics. These power centers orchestrated a delicate balance between chaos and control. Overall, they defined economic landscapes and the ultimate fate of gold-centric communities. Points of fragility threaded through the gold rush experience. Infrastructure often lagged behind unprecedented demand. Sanitation and health issues plagued densely populated boomtowns. Rapid environmental degradation threatened long-term viability of mining operations. Legal disputes over claims fueled animosities, sometimes erupting into violence. Price volatility of gold affected miners' fortunes, creating economic disparities. The social fabric faced strain from cultural and racial tensions that surfaced. Indigenous populations witnessed irreparable changes to their lands and lives. Cultural assimilation and displacement marked this complex migration narrative. Nature's unpredictability, including harsh winters, challenged human resolve. Despite risks, the lure of gold persisted, testing limits of adaptability and resourcefulness. Points of fragility starkly highlighted the volatile intersection between human ambition and environmental realities. Exposure and stress intensified during peak years of the rush. With riches came new vulnerabilities, evident in financial and social dynamics. Reputations of entire nations and cities rested on this volatile gold economy. Labor tensions manifested as workers demanded fair wages and conditions. Mining techniques became increasingly scrutinized for environmental impacts. Tributaries and landscapes suffered, affecting ecosystems and indigenous habitats. It wasn't only miners feeling stress. Local economies often reached breaking points. Social institutions had to adapt swiftly to the changing foundational structures. Problems surfaced in speculative bubbles, echoing economic crises of later eras. Exposure led to increased calls for regulation and oversight from federal entities. This era tested frameworks of free market economics versus regulated growth. While abundant opportunities emerged, they were inseparable from inherent stresses. Why does the gold rush still shape the present? Its long shadows reach into today's financial markets and cultural psyche. Resource-driven booms remain archetypal in speculative ventures and economic theories. The concept of boomtowns translates into modern tech hubs and urban expansions. Miners' resolve and adaptability echo in today's entrepreneurial spirit. Indigenous rights issues raised during this era resonate in current land disputes. Many methodologies developed for resource extraction continue to influence mining industries. The narratives of migration, opportunity, and risk are recurrent in American tales. Technological innovations then lay groundwork for today's infrastructure advancements. Global investment patterns still reflect lessons from this period's market dynamics. The gold rushes illustrated vivid tales of triumph and hardship, underpinning national ethos. Remnants of these historic migrations define demographic and cultural landscapes now. Connective threads bind the past and present, making the story of the gold rush an enduring legacy.